Hey everyone, welcome to the show. It's the news you've been waiting for. George Santos has officially been arrested and indicted on 13 criminal charges. And one of his former aides told the FBI that Santos, quote, inappropriately touched him. So, first, the indictment. Counts 1 through 5 are wire fraud charges, and they're related to, quote, fraudulent political contribution solicitation scheme. Counts 6 through 8 pertain to crimes of, quote, unlawful monetary transactions over $10,000. Count 9 is for theft of public money. Counts 10 and 11 are also for wire fraud, but they're related to count 9 because they pertain to, quote, fraudulent application for receipt of unemployment benefits. And count 12 and 13 have to do with false statements made on his house disclosure reports. So I read through the 20-page indictment, and it's very damning. I mean, it seems like this is going to be a documents case where there's so much documentary evidence. I can't imagine this guy is going to get out of any of this. So it states in part that between September and October of 2022, Santos scammed his campaign supporters by having them, quote, contribute funds to company number 1 under the false pretense that the money would be used to support his campaign. The prosecutor says that these funds were solicited through emails, texts, and phone calls, and Santos relayed that this money was going to be used on TV ads and other various advertisements. Instead, Santos allegedly spent this money on personal items. And Santos had some help. There was someone listed in this indictment as person number 1. Although it sounds like Santos lied to this person as well, because the indictment states that Santos, quote, conveyed false information to person number 1 about the nature of company number 1 and the purpose of the contributions. So this person unknowingly lied to contributors, and he or she told them that this company wasn't subject to the typical cap on campaign contributions. So person number 1 unknowingly falsely told a contributor via email that this fake campaign company was a, quote, 501c4 independent expenditure committee under federal campaign finance law and do not coordinate directly with the Santos campaign. And for non-US viewers, this is really key in this one issue because in the US, we have things that are known as PACs and super PACs, so PAC, that stands for Political Action Committee. They're used really to get around the max, direct campaign contribution to candidates. They're not allowed legally to be working or coordinating with any specific candidates, though. So they'll typically have a generic name. They'll have the American Way PAC or, First America PAC or something like that. So it's not specific to like George Santos PAC. You can't you can't coordinate directly with one person. Although, I mean, it's complete bullshit. They obviously still have ways of communicating with candidates. And, they're obviously mostly raising money for their preferred candidate. It's a joke. But anyway, to see Santos directing this person to communicate with donors, to see this money directly going to him, I mean, and this isn't even a real PAC. This isn't even a real, nonprofit 501c4 or whatever it was. I mean, this is just as brazen and corrupt as it gets. So the indictment goes on to say that at least 2 people sent $25,000 each to this fake campaign donation company that Santos set up. And then the money was transferred to Santos' personal bank account, and he used it on, quote, luxury designer clothing, credit card payments, and personal debts. And then it said that he transferred some of the money to his associates. And then they say that Santos also made cash withdrawals. In regard to the public theft, Santos allegedly received nearly $25,000 from federal COVID funds that he was not entitled to. This one is unbelievably laugh out loud funny. I mean, it's serious and it's horrible, but it's hysterical at the same time because Santos is a co-sponsor on a bill that the House is going to be voting on this week, which will help states recover federal funds that were paid to people who fraudulently received COVID money, who said, yeah, I deserve this money. I was unemployed or whatever. And then they got it and they scammed the system. And he's one of those people who did this. Seriously, I mean, and the indictment states that Santos submitted an application for COVID funds. He falsely claimed that he was unemployed from March 2020 through April of 2021. Well, as of February of 2020 and through April of 2021, he was employed. He was receiving an annual salary of $120,000 from a company that's referred to in the indictment as Firm Number One, which I believe is that Harbor City Capital company that he was working for, that they also got shut down because they were basically running a Ponzi scheme. So you can't make this shit up. Santos has also been indicted for financial disclosure violations. You guys might recall he was unsuccessful in a run for office in 2020. Well, Santos failed to report over $50,000 in income on his 2020 financial disclosures. So they would have covered, that financial disclosure would have covered income received in 2019. He claimed he only had $55,000 in income that year. Apparently, he received another $25,403 from investment firm Number One, and then another company paid him $27,555. So he legitimately had over $100,000 in income that year. The indictment also says that Santos' 2022 financial disclosure is completely bogus. Santos claimed, you guys will remember this, that he was receiving $750,000 in salary from his so-called company, this Devolder Organization, LLC. He also said that the company had given him dividends somewhere between $1 million and $5 million. He also said that he had a checking account with a balance between $100,000 and $250,000. And then he had a savings account with somewhere around $1 million to $5 million in it. So the prosecutor says that's all fiction. But here's what we still don't know. Here's what wasn't in this indictment. You guys remember, he said he lent his campaign some obscene amount of money, and he funded his own campaign, according to George Santos. This indictment doesn't answer the question about where that money came from. So I have a feeling we're either going to see a superseding indictment in this case, and there might be some co-conspirators named, or maybe they're using these charges as leverage to try to get Santos to come clean about other crimes he committed. We'll have to see. But as for the inappropriate touching, former Santos aide Derek Myers, he says that it was witness number one for the FBI, first of all. And he told News Nation host Chris Cuomo, quote, "The FBI was heavily looking into the congressman from day one when he was sworn into office until today. So there are people within his office that are going to be key witnesses that come out in this criminal probe." And Myers says there's no way Santos is going to resign. He said he has absolutely no other source of income. He said he just can't afford it. He cannot afford to quit. So, we're running out of room on the farm, guys. I don't know what we're going to do with all these chickens that are coming home to roost. I mean, but this is who they are. This is what and who the Republican Party is and has become. Their front runner for the presidency is now a convicted sexual abuser. And their Congress people, like George Santos, are grifters. They're liars, thieves, they're Q-loon conspiracy theorists. They believe in Jewish space lasers. Me. Oh my God. No one would have believed this. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, no one would have believed how far the Republican Party has fallen. Party of Lincoln. Okay. All right, guys. When I hear more, I will let you know, because there's going to be a lot more coming out. I will talk with you soon. Please like this video, share it. Please subscribe if you have not already. Please become a supporter financially if you can. It helps to keep the show going. I love you guys. Take care. Talk with you soon.